Okay, so the second principle I want to introduce to you guys is it's another thing that Jay would say all the time, and the answer was the question was profound, but the answer was even more profound. The question is, well, when's it my turn? Now, when I first heard him say this, he was talking about fighting. You know, you're in a fight, you're getting punched, you're getting kicked, you're getting thrown around, choked, and you're thinking, well, when is it my turn to do something? I'd like to actually be able to be the guy giving the guy the punch or the. And Jay would say, well, it's your turn when you make it your turn. When you take it, you have to make it happen. That's another profound statement. Now, profound not because it's so amazingly complex, but it's actually profound because of the simplicity. You're talking about something that should be obvious to everybody. You can't wait around in the world and just expect things to happen for you. You have to make things happen. Now, the other interesting thing about that was I may not be able to make happen what I want. And that's another principle we're going to talk to at some point down the road is this idea of you have to do what you can do, not what you want to do all the time. But how do I make it my turn? Well, you make it your turn when you interrupt that guy. You have to create an interruption. And that's what became very interesting, was all the ways you could make an interruption. And I can already think of 2 or 3 other principles that come off of this thing. So the challenge in doing these for you guys is everything is connected and comes back around. And I think of one thing and it ties me into another, and then that flips me back to the original and ties me to 2 others. So we're going to revisit a lot of these. Even though I'm trying to put them into some logical sequential order for you, you're going to find that I'll talk about things out of order. I'll circle back. I'll revisit, because that's the only way that I understand these things. It's a constant re-unpacking of them. First don't lose was the starting point. You're not winning if you're losing. Okay, fine. So I've learned some defense. I've cut down on some of the bad behavior. Now, when's it going to be my turn in life? When do I actually get a shot at this thing? And most people would tell you the reason they're not winning, the reason they're not successful in life is because they lack resources. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough time. They don't have the connections. They don't have an uncle in the business, something like this. And, you know, I think Tony Robbins had said it one time. He said, what you really are lacking is resourcefulness, not resources. You need to find a way to make it happen for yourself. So, when's it your turn? It's your turn when you make it your turn. It's your turn when you go after it. And the real profoundness about that statement is that it keeps you from falling into victimhood. Once you fall into victimhood and you see yourself as a victim and how unfair life is to you, you've given up on yourself, really. And I think it's really a tragic thing that people start to identify with that, and then they believe that they're virtuous. There's virtue in it. That you're suffering long, you're suffering bravely on it. And Jay always said to me, you know, you can move on. And he'd also tell me, look, you can do anything you want. You just can't do everything you want. There's a trade-off. So get off your rear end and figure it out. Now, I think in terms of making it your turn, you have to find a way to interrupt that flow, whether it be what the other person is doing, but more importantly, what you're doing to yourself. What are you doing to self-sabotage yourself? You have to interrupt that process. You have to find an interruption. In fighting, there's a lot of them. There's all kinds of interruptions. You know, Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan till they get hit in the face. There's an interruption. But I think find for yourself, what are you doing? What old programs are running that keeps you stuck, that keeps you from making the step? And what you're going to find is you'll never run out of excuses. They're always there. They're always available. But you're never going to get anywhere in life like that. So when is it your turn? It's your turn when you take your turn. That's the most important thing.